Don't you get paranoid as a leader sometimes? पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है, FOMO नहीं होता आपको?
I think as a leader, we need to keep it inside. You cannot show it to your team because then they will start panicking. Out of a blue moon, one of the regional CPA firm in Los Angeles, they saw my profile somewhere.
ये बंदा इंडिया में US accounting कर रहा है, कुछ तो होगा इसमें. But you are a chartered accountant. And for chartered accountant, this is not the typical.
It's not, and my family was very upset when I chose this industry after doing my CA. My dad was
क्या
like,
कर रहे हो?
what are you doing? It's a starting days, it's a risk, but I'm young, I can take risk now. I did my CA, I cannot file my own tax return. I have to probably take support from someone else.
Another
right?
CA.
We are one of the top two priorities for
Top
the
two.
firm.
Technology and Vishal.
Technology and
India GCC.
I'll not say Vishal, but yes,
India
the-
GCC. You seem like a very cool boss.
My way of working is come to me if you need me. Otherwise, I trust you. You are the best in the industry, and that's why you are here. You have a role to play. I have a role to play. Let's just do it.
So what were the cultural learnings when you came back to India? Let's say driving on the roads.
First few months I couldn't drive. I'll be honest.
मेरी किस्मत ही खराब है, मेरी किस्मत ही खराब है.
But then I had to. There was no other option. Thankfully, I didn't hit anyone.
And how did you scale up PwC? What was your role there? How was your journey?
The first thing first was to deliver quality. We can talk about the talent in India, but unless we deliver quality, you cannot get the
And it's
buy-in
delivering
of our
quality
stakeholders.
every day.
Every day.
Client, every engagement. So how did your journey evolve? You were with PwC and then you moved into EY.
EY, of course, was in terms of the scale, in terms of the level of work that they were doing, is at a very high level. They had a visionary leader in India, was thinking it at a different level altogether. And coming to EY, that gave me opportunity. We can bring in industry expertise within tax function as well.
What did you research about Citrin? What did you find which made you excited about Citrin Cooperman?
It was the fastest growing firm in the US. They grew from 350 million to more than 700 million in a space of 2 or 3 years. And I think we were the first or the second one that got the PE investment. So that was exciting. And I knew that if private equity has invested, obviously they will be focused to scale the India
High
team
pressure,
because,
right? You want scale, you want good talent, you
exactly.
want EBITDA focus. AI in accounting or tech in accounting.
AI is the future. AI is doing it already. Will be redundant in the market. The boxes on your tax returns will probably already be filled by AI, and that will give opportunity for our teams to start with a review rather than just the preparation.
Hello and welcome to CPAs Unplugged, the India GCC series. Where we celebrate leaders, change makers who've been instrumental in building up global capability centers in public accounting in India, creating opportunities for tens of thousands or rather hundreds of thousands of Indian accountants who are now able to work with global clients on global projects, able to do audit, tax, accounting for around the world from right here in India. Today on the show, we've got Vishal Agarwal, Executive Managing Director at Citrin Cooperman. Vishal, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Varun. Thank you.
Tell me your story, Vishal. Where did you start? How did you get into GCCs? What have you seen evolving over the last 2 decades or more than 2 decades that you've been involved in this ecosystem?
It's an interesting story, and glad you asked this. I started my US accounting, career way back in 2003 when I just passed.
2003 में कहाँ होता था US accounting India में?
नहीं होता था या होता था to a certain extent. EYs and Deloitte's started.
They were just starting off at that
They were
point.
just starting, and I just came across an opportunity when I was, I was looking for a job after passing my CA.
But you were a chartered accountant, and for chartered accountants, this is not the typical.
It's not, and my family was very upset when I chose this industry after doing my CA. My dad was
क्या
like,
कर रहे हो?
what are you doing? You should be in a bank or in a finance department of a company. What are you doing there? And I'm like, no, I'm liking it. It's different. It's very different. It's
Those
a
were
risk.
the starting days.
It's a starting days. It's a risk, but I'm young. I can take risk now. I cannot do this. And if agar nahi chala, I'll move on. I can always find something else to do. So 2003, me and 3 of my colleagues who were also chartered accountants, we came together and started this US accounting and tax in Kolkata with 20 team members. And we work with Intuit to get QuickBooks training, TurboTax and Pro System FX. So we trained our team members. We took, of course, their help. They came in to India and then trained our teams. And we reached out to small CPA firms in the US as to hey, we are here, we can help you. And at that point in time, it was not about the talent shortage. Nobody was thought about the talent shortage. It was more about the cost arbitrage. And we said, we'll do it for you. It's a 24 hours, kind of a churn. You send work your evening, you'll get it back next day. 2-3 बार US गए, we met CPA firms, or the CPAs in those firms, and a few agreed. And that's how it started for me.
Wow.
2003.
Wow.
So now if I reflect, I will like, okay, it's quite a journey. Like, starting in 2003 when nobody knew about it. It's quite an, achievement, I guess.
And then how do you see this evolve? How did you see this evolve? How was your career journey?
It took quite a turn. So with this firm, I was associated for almost 4 years.
Sure.
And then out of a blue moon, one of the CPA firm, a regional CPA firm in Los Angeles, they saw my profile somewhere. And
ये बंदा इंडिया में US accounting कर रहा है, कुछ तो होगा.
कुछ तो होगा. And so they reached out and said, we want to sponsor an H1B for you. Why don't you come and join us?
Amazing. और accountants का normally H1B नहीं होता ऐसे.
नहीं होता है. So
नहीं करते companies.
नहीं करते हैं. But this firm, Combiner Savit, they used to sponsor one Indian chartered accountant every year actually. And
so you were
because
like the one chartered accountant from India that year?
From India. I was the one chartered accountant from India that year. And I think they realized the accounting talent, the chartered accountants from India are like, good accountants. So I think they realized that.
Typically, a lot of firms want to send work to India and build the team. They wanted to bring in talent to the US.
Yeah, because they were not aware of that, or they were not venturing into a concept of, sending
the
work to India.
Or sending work to India.
Yeah, they were like, they were happy with their own setup in the
US में रहना है?
US में रहना है, and we'll do it there.
एक देसी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हर साल लेकर आते हैं, हर साल एक नया.
Right. So 2007 October is when I joined them. And
तो कैसा रहा? How did it feel? जब वो call आया, how did it feel? How were you excited? Was it like the American dream वाला feel?
Kind of, yes. I mean, like, American dream, of course. And my first thought was all my hard work for the 4 years, or the gamble that I took of getting into the US accounting paid off. Yeah, it's a paid off, and it's an opportunity. And my idea was to go there, learn, okay, the technical stuff. Of course, when at that time working in India was just, just scratching the surface. We were just doing a little bit of stuff, a transactional job. And I saw that as an opportunity. कि वहाँ जाके सीखेंगे, and then I'll do my CPA there. Because being a CPA or doing CPA was a dream when I was doing my articleship during my CA days. The principal under whom I was an article, she was pursuing CPA at that point in time, 2020 I'm talking about.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, it's all falling in place. One by one. So let's go there. Amazing. And my parents were very supportive.
Normally CAs कई लोग होते हैं ना. Of course, a lot of people are very hungry. कुछ लोग होते हैं CA के बाद बिल्कुल पढ़ाई नहीं करनी life में.
So it was a big gap because 2003 to 2007,
sure.
4 years, and starting that studies all over again after a gap is not easy. But I said, let's do it. It's कुछ तो नया ही सीखेंगे. And maybe we don't know what the future is. Sure. I didn't think about कि क्या करेंगे, कितने दिन रहेंगे. But let's go and learn. So I was there for almost 3 years. Wow. I did my CPA, and it was an amazing experience because, like I said, the technical learning. Because you are on the ground, you are getting your hands dirty, working with the clients, meeting them.
So what were the culture shocks that you had जब आप US गए? सबसे पहला या सबसे बड़ा?
The biggest culture shock was कि जो है, you need to say what is right or what is wrong. Don't overpromise. Generally, I think in Indians, we generally always say yes. We don't say no. We always say yes, even if we think it is not possible or we have not thought about how we'll do it.
हाँ बोलते हैं, नहीं भी कर पाए तो जुगाड़ करके
कुछ कर लेंगे, कुछ करके. So that's the mindset. But there it was like कि, be straight. Say if you're not able to do it or you cannot do it, tell us and we'll teach you. Or, but don't say that, okay, yes, I'll do this return, even if you have not worked on it. And let us know and we'll teach you, So that was the big, I would not say culture shock, but a culture learning, that's so important in this industry when you're dealing with the Americans. I don't remember if they were shocks because this was not the first time I was traveling to the US. Like I said,
But
in my
it's staying
previous.
in the US for a few years.
Oh, the biggest shock I would say the value for life. I'll tell you an incident. So when I was I was staying in the US. Got my parents to visit me in the US, and day one when my mom reached, an unfortunate event happened. She happened to just fell down and she broke her arm.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, what to do? And then I called 911, just the regular thing. In 2 or 3 minutes, I was still talking to the 911 agent. The ambulance and the fire brigade was down there. And they took care of her and without me spending any money. So they took her to the government hospital and she was treated and all that stuff. So then I realized that in the value of life is so important over there that they take care of you even if you are not able to pay, but they'll still treat you. So that was one big thing, that I'll remember this for my life.
So 3 years in the US. फिर क्या हुआ? 3 साल बाद क्या हुआ?
So after 3
स्वदेश का
years,
music
I
playing हुआ?
had to come back to India again for family reasons, and I was trying to see, obviously, I wanted to do what I've been doing, like being associated with the US tax and accounting. Obviously, it was probably a little late to change my
And you were doing
industry.
good. You were doing good there, right?
I was doing good, but I'm the only son, so I had to take care of my parents. My mom
Very nice.
is going through some medical thing, and my dad called me and said, we need you back. So okay, I'll come back. Let me find a suitable role. Fortunately, so I'm from Kolkata, and fortunately, PwC was scaling their operations
Because
in
they
Kolkata.
started in Kolkata.
They started in Kolkata. They started in 2010 July, and that's when I was planning to come back to India. And fortunately, it worked out well. So I came and joined PwC, their tax practice, specifically business tax, as a manager.
So you joined very early on.
Very early on, like 5 or 6 months since they got into operations, and that's where I got involved with PwC, and things worked out well. Again, things falling in place. Coming back to India, and that's not only coming back to India, coming back to your own city, and working with PwC. Correct. So that experience, I think, helped me transition and get into PwC. And they were a small team at that point in time. But they had plans to scale up, and I helped the firm scaling their operations.
So what were the cultural learnings when you came back to India? Let's say driving on the roads.
Driving, first few months I couldn't drive. I'll be honest. But then I had to. There was no other option. Thankfully, I didn't hit anyone or didn't crash. That was a shock, actually. Not a shock. The change that I had to bring to myself.
But how did you see? Through your journey, and of course, it continues. At that time, how did you see the acceptance for India's accounting talent? Right. Let's say you work for a firm which really recognized India's talent, even if they hired one chartered accountant every year. I'm assuming it's a small firm, so they were like, we want to use India's talent. And, at that point, the big fours, PwC included, were trying to sort of build up their base. A lot of others were considering what to do, what not to do. How did you see the recognition for India's accounting talent, or there were always that, we want American CPAs?
I would say it was not like 100% or negative or 100% positive. There were pockets.
Sure.
There were pockets of people who were who understood that this is the need and this will help them individually as well as as the firm.
And when you say need, you say need in terms of shortage of accountants in the US, or need in terms of improving the bottom line because of your cost arbitrage?
At that point in time, it was cost arbitrage.
Sure.
I don't think at that point in time people were thinking about the the shortage of the accountants in the US. I don't think it was so prominent that if people were thinking about it. It was more about the bottom line, how they can help with the margins, and we are all accountants. We understand that how it can help with the margins. So it was mostly about it to begin with. At least in 2011, 12, the first few years in PwC, that was how it was key.
And how did you scale up PwC? So you started off early on. How did PwC scale up? What was your role there? How was your journey?
So the first thing first was to deliver quality, because till the time we can talk about the talent in India, about the accountants in India, that we can do it, but unless we deliver quality, you cannot get the
And it's
buy-in of
delivering
our
quality
stakeholders
every day, every client, every engagement.
engagement. So that was our biggest target. Even though we were engaged only to do the preparation, like as a staff, even seniors or assistant managers, they were just doing preparation or maybe doing a quality review. But we were engaged only to prepare, and sometimes our work was reviewed by a senior in the US. So that was a little bit of something that hurt. Like okay, we have that
Itna experience
experience, but still,
haan.
we understood that obviously we have to build that trust, and it takes time to build trust.
Yeah, because you have internal clients and then external clients both.
Clients as well, right? Exactly. So that was the biggest focus to begin with. As how we can deliver quality, and if there were poor quality sometimes, obviously there will be areas sometimes where the quality is not good. Take that feedback positively and learn from it, and then take it forward. How we can bring it into our learning and development curriculums and things like that. So the first few years were more about building the trust, getting the quality done. Even though we were scaling in terms of the headcount, but the pace of scale was not that high. The first few years. Then there was a change that happened around 2015, 2016. We had leaders from the US who came to visit us, and we made them meet some of the talent that we had in our firm, as well as we lined up few candidates from the other firms and had them talk to them. And I think that was the aha moment for them, that they never realized that this is what is available in Indian market.
So any examples where you had somebody was very against this entire model, that okay, I want accountants for my work in the US. Why should I work with accountants thousands of miles away?
Many.
And then somebody really transformed. They say, no, I want Indian talent.
Oh, many such cases and
Turnarounds,
and I mentioned this earlier. Our biggest critics can become our biggest supporter. That's true all the time. We had few.
And it's
partners.
not easy, right? Because critics start with that very critical mindset कि नहीं चलेगा ये.
Yeah, नहीं चलेगा. But if you
they
show
want it
them,
to fail because it'll validate their ideology. In some cases.
may not be they may not want it to fail, but they had that bottleneck that okay, how can someone sitting in India can do US tax return? And the response always is, this is very complex. Only my team can do it, others cannot do it. I'm like, no, if you can train your team in US, you can train our team in India as well.
Amazing.
It's about training. Accounting is accounting. The accounting principles are the same.
Correct.
Okay. The tax regulations may change between India and US. Obviously, the regulations are different, but the principle is probably the same. Okay. So it's all trainable, and these are accountants, chartered accountants who understand all of that. So if we mix that investment in training them, and if we deliver quality work to you, and meet your timelines, then let's see. So we worked with one very senior partner, and it worked well. It worked out very well for him, and then he became our biggest supporter. He stood in front of the other partner and said, "Hey, if I can use India, why cannot you use India?" This is how it was. So many such cases, and it still happens. It's not that it was just once.
Yeah, because all the partners don't think alike. A lot of them are very traditional, and they want, if I'm a partner in the Chicago office, I would want my team in Chicago. I want to see them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big comfort actually. I think that's the biggest thing that goes on in their mind. That if there's something happening, I can still walk and talk to that individual and see what's happening. Or if they have a question, they can come and talk to me. But I think COVID changed a lot. In COVID, everyone was working remotely. Even if somebody is in New York, they're still sitting in their home, and they still have to use technology to reach out to you or go through all these things. I think that also opened up a little bit. They opened up the mindset that okay, somebody sitting 5 miles away or 5,000 miles away,
doesn't matter.
It's the same thing. Yes, the time zone is a thing, but still it's manageable. It's
you
not
schedule your calls
manageable.
and people are still available.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how did your journey evolve? So you were with PwC and then you moved into EY. So you're like more than a decade in the Big Four.
Yes. I think. Almost a decade in Big Four. So from PwC to EY, that was a nice transition, I would say, as well, because EY, of course, was in terms of the scale, in terms of the level of work that they were doing, is at a very high level compared to
Because they're a
some
little
of the
bit
other
mature.
big
They
firms.
started early on.
They started
right?
very early.
had
They
an
started
early
in
advantage,
2002,
yeah.
and they had a visionary leader in India, and who was thinking it at a different level altogether. It's in a very nice way. Uh, and I think till that time it was mostly about just getting the returns done in India, maybe just preparation, even review or signing. But the thought was, why can't we just deal with the clients directly from India? How can we bring the industry expertise in India? And that excited me. As to, obviously we are scaling that in my current organization as well. But there's something new that I can do. We were not thinking from the industry perspective. And coming to EY, that gave me an opportunity or an understanding that, okay, we can bring in industry expertise within tax function as well. Audit was always there. Audit, the industry
So you
expertise
basically
was also
divided
there
your audit team or your tax team by
industry.
So you're like
and-
auditors working on financial services, or auditors working on
Yeah.
real estate, or auditors working on airlines, whatever.
Right, yeah, or manufacturing and development, or it could be, any other industry. But each industry has their own nuances.
Absolutely.
And if we have to scale to that level where the teams in India can become the consultants for
You
the
need- you need
US,
industry
you need
knowledge.
that
You
industry
need depth,
expertise.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, obviously you develop it while you do the tax returns, but still you need to know the language of the industry, or what's happening in the
So
industry.
what tax credits can I use? Let's say, can I use an R&D tax credit?
Yes. Or the new regulations coming in, how it is impacting the industry, or with COVID, how it impacted the industry. Like COVID impacted the media and entertainment industry big time. There were so many mergers and acquisitions that were happening in that industry itself.
Sure.
So how to tackle those nuances. And
we
deal
all
with the
moved
clients.
to Netflix.
Yes,
or maybe
absolutely.
an Amazon Prime.
I think all the big M&As in that industry happened during those 2 years.
Interesting.
And if you don't understand the industry or how the industry is getting impacted, you cannot be a true consultant.
True.
And that's the level where EY was thinking at that point in time, and that excited me. Okay, so let's see, let's explore that. And it was a wonderful journey with them. And I think about 4 years later, this new opportunity for Citrin Cooperman came to me. A consultant called me and said, they're looking for head of India offices.
So
for Citrin
everybody
Cooperman.
knows who's PwC and who's EY. Not everyone, at least in India, because they don't really have a deep India presence. No Citrin Cooperman.
Yeah.
How was your reaction?
My reaction was, okay, looks like an opportunity, but let me first, go and see,
about
what's
the
the
firm.
plan for the organization, what Citrin Cooperman is planning to do. Is it just about, okay, we need a team in India, or is it about, what they plan to do, how they want to scale, or, what kind of team
So
they
what
want
did you
to
research
build?
about Citrin? What did you find which made you excited about Citrin Cooperman?
It was a fastest growing firm in the US. When I went through their profile, through the website, and all other things, they grew from 350 million to more than 700 million in a space of small, maybe 2 or 3 years. And the New Mountain Capital's investment in Citrin Cooperman, that was something new as well. I knew that private equities were trying to get into the accounting industry, but this was real. And I think we were the first or the second one that got the PE investment. So that was exciting. And I knew that if private equity has invested, obviously they will be focused to scale the India
High
team,
pressure,
because,
right? You want scale, you want good talent, you
exactly.
want EBITDA focus.
Right. And then during my interview process, spoke to Alan and Ken and a few others. The vision was very clear. My first interaction with Alan said, Vishal, we need the India team to start signing returns as soon as possible. And that was like, okay, we're in the right, this is the right industry,
Wow. Okay.
right organization.
So they're
for
just
me
not
to
looking
join.
at India as a back office,
Yes,
but
it was-
sort of an extended office where you're doing the same work here.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. So that sealed my decision that, okay, this is the right move for me. And of course, I saw an
But
opportunity.
it's not
as
easy,
well.
right? Vishal, a big four guy, so many years. There's a comfort level, of course.
Yeah, there's a comfort level, but I like you.
And
I
again, this is
mentioned
not just a
earlier.
question for you. This is also a question for a lot of our talent base, right? And people often see the big four. They're brands, them since you're in college, and you're excited about working with the big four because you've heard of them, right? And then transitioning from a big four to a mid-tier. I mean, Citrin is, of course, among the top 20 in the US, and as you said, growing very fast, very entrepreneurial, equity investments, but it's still, how do you see that? How did you see that
I
move?
always find that as an opportunity because if you are part of a growing firm, and if you join or become part of that growing firm at the beginning, it gives an opportunity for you to grow along with the firm. So you get that satisfaction that okay, I'm contributing towards the growth of the firm, and at the same time I am growing as well. I've seen that in PwC because, like I said, when I joined
This is
PwC, I
pretty
joined as a
nascent,
manager, it was pretty nascent stage. And when I left, I was a tax leader there. So I could relate that, okay, whatever I've learned from all my previous experience, either working in the US or with PwC or EY, I can utilize my learning.
Correct.
and try to grow the firm in India. And it was a challenging task, but that's what I love. New challenges are always good. So I always encourage everyone. It's okay to take risk. Sometimes we have to take risk, but
Sure.
obviously evaluate and see if there's an opportunity. Do your best. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And
over here.
you've done that since you became a chartered accountant.
I've been
right
doing
from
that,
the
yeah.
US accounting job in India to doing your CPA, going to
Exactly.
America, and then
Yes,
and then of course
yes.
coming back.
Yeah,
And,
and
this
I
was
think
like
this was my best
a restart
decision.
again. It's again an opportunity to get back to the same entrepreneurial.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think this is one of the best decisions that I've taken, over the last few years to come and join.
So
Citrin
how long have
Cooperman.
you been in Citrin, and how's been the
Almost a year and a half now. And it's been an amazing journey. The support that we have from our US leadership, India leadership. In fact, our entire India leadership is new, from our advisory leader to audit leader to tax leader. But they all come with varied experience. They all have worked one way or the other with some of the
and you
big
seem like a very
fours.
cool boss.
My way of working is come to me if you need me, okay, or when you need me. Otherwise, I trust you. You are the best in the industry, and that's why you are here. Just get going. There's no point me just barging into all the stuff. You have a role to play. I have a role to play. Let's just do it.
So how was the scale? How was the journey last year and a half with Citrin Cooperman?
We have scaled. We have more than doubled our team for the last 1 year.
So how many people in Citrin Cooperman?
We are now close to 700 already. When I joined in January 2024, we were about 320 or something.
Wow.
And we have put our plans together for till 2028 already. So that's how we are kind of working. We're not just thinking from what to do this year. We're thinking about next 3 years as well. We have a plan chalked out already, and we will be doubling from the headcount that we have right now by in next 2 to 3 years time frame.
So now that you've taken up this role in Citrin, of course, it's great for everyone, right? It's great for India's accounting talent. You've like 700 jobs now, and of course, you're adding many more. Hundreds of millions of dollars to the Indian economy, and it's all export for us, right? So
Yes.
I think nobody really talks about that, right? India GCC, we do that in the tech sector, not as much in accounting. Every GCC is generating crazy amount of export revenues.
Absolutely, and this is fascinating. I think the change that we see is. It was just about big fours a few years ago. I would say about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was just about the big fours and maybe few others. But now over the last 4 or 5 years, you see all the mid-market firms, also heavily investing in India.
Yes.
And it's helping Indian economy basically, and creating jobs for the accountants and in India, an exciting job opportunity. Not only, I mean, obviously the Indian chartered accountants, they work with our, India practices, or get employed with some of the other large industrial group or something. But this is a new opportunity for them.
Correct.
and exciting and different. And that's also important. They're doing something different. They're learning something different, and they can do CPAs and in the future that adds to their credentials and all that stuff. So it's nice actually.
And again, it sort of opens up a multi-dimensional opportunity for an Indian accountant. Think about somebody who's just graduating from college, or maybe on the track to CA, maybe a CA inter or CA final, and now I have so many options, right? One option is, of course, go the traditional route, become a chartered accountant, work for an Indian accounting firm or in the Indian industry, which has been happening for decades.
Yeah.
Or add on to my CA or not do CA and do CPA, and work for or maybe even complete CA and work for a US company in India, US Global Capability Center, where I can work with global clients. And these opportunities are both with public accounting and even in industry, right? Of course, we're focusing on public accounting, but there are a lot of industry jobs as well. All the Fortune 500s and Amazons of the world setting up huge bases, so I can work. And if I get back to zoom into public accounting, now I have the big four, and then I have a lot of other firms like Citrin Cooperman, where I can start my career, be a little bit more entrepreneurial. So it's like, I mean, how do I choose?
It's difficult to choose. Obviously there's so much, but it's a good problem to have,
Yeah.
right? And when you have so many options, it's a good problem to have. And then you can also experiment, right? I mean, like maybe you start with an Indian accounting firm, and after a few years or maybe a year or two, you realize that this is not my cup of tea. You have an option to switch over and try something else, or vice versa.
So do you have a lot of your candidates who worked with in Citrin Cooperman in India, who worked with Indian accounting firms, maybe articleship, maybe full-time jobs, and then they come into you and
a lot of them come in, and one of the things that they talk about, switching over to US accounting or tax, or in general offshore. It's not only about US, it's about UK and
Correct.
Australia and all the other countries as well. Is the heavy use of technology, which is somehow it's probably lacking at this point in time with with the Indian firms.
tell us more. Tell us more. I mean, we want to hear about technology, and we love AI.
So AI is the future. Sure. We have to accept it. Okay, we like it or don't like it, but we have to accept it, sure. Embrace it.
Sure.
We have to. Otherwise, we'll be redundant in the market. If we don't do it, others are doing it, and we'll be behind. So the earlier we embrace it and learn how to use it, or learn their capabilities, and then adapt to change and change ourselves as to how we function. Is going to be critical.
We all use ChatGPT, Vishal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's there. It's great. And of course, a lot of other tools, do graphics, videos, and all of that. But AI in accounting, I mean, or tech in accounting. Give us a few use cases. Stuff that you've done, or you plan to do.
There are many. Just the regular reconciliation of your bank reconciliation. AI is doing it already.
Okay, so you don't need to do anything.
You don't need to do anything,
done.
right? Bank reconciliation, or just the regular in audit, regular tick and tie, with your financial statement to your audit report.
जो पहले करते थे बैठ के.
Yeah, I'm like, it was a mundane work, right? And we hated it, right? We hated it, but we still used to do it.
Yeah,
and
part of the job.
so if AI is doing it, it gives it, first of all, you don't have to do that mundane works, you feel good about it. And then you can do things that happens after the tick and tie. So you're learning, or your career growth can, and when I say career growth, it's not about the designation, it's about what you're doing in your career, accelerates. Okay, so because then you're starting right away after the tick and tie is done, you just review it and be more analytical about it, that okay, what needs to be done. So you save maybe the first 2 or 3 years that you do the mundane work, you have a head start. Correct. Of 3 to 4 years. Correct. I think that is exciting about it. Even the first draft of the audit reports are now being done by AI in certain cases. So all of that will be done away with. We don't have to worry about it.
Now, Vishal, with so much happening with audit data analytics, and all these use cases that you said, let's say if on an engagement I have a 20 people audit team. Now maybe the partner doesn't need 20 people. What do you see? I mean, do you see AI taking over, let's say, audit jobs, or I mean, how do you see the future?
My firm belief is no technology will take away your jobs if we change ourselves and adapt it accordingly.
We leverage the new technology.
Just to give an example, when I give these examples all the time. When personal computers were invented, everyone was freaked out that the jobs will be gone and everything. But it did not. It created more opportunities.
True.
Just to give an example, if we are doing US audit and US tax sitting in India, if personal computers were not developed,
we couldn't do it. There was no worldwide web.
So there was, it always creates an opportunity, and our role is to identify those opportunities. So if to your example, if 20 team members were working on an audit, and now with AI or other technology, we only need, say, 15, the other 5, we need to find opportunity for them to do something else.
Sure.
And there will always be other opportunities. It's just to give an example, if you have more available team members, utilize them to do more value-add work. Like I said, do more analytics. The clients are not only looking at us to do their tax returns. They can always go from one firm to the other, and they'll probably get the same product or same tax return. But what value are we adding them? Are we analyzing their tax return and identifying and highlighting the areas that, okay, this is what has happened, and what can we do differently next year to save some taxes for you, or give you some trends as to what direction you're moving, so you can utilize those additional help to do those work. So I don't think it will take away our jobs. So yes, if we don't change the way we learn, or identify, if we don't identify right opportunities, then yes. But there's always something else to do.
So now, so if I'm again a young accountant here in India, and I have so many options, right? I can work with Indian firms, I can work with US companies in India, and I have so many tracks, right? If I go to my dad, right, or parents, or a lot of folks, they'll say, no, you should do CA, and then and now there are so many opportunities for CPAs, right? How do and then we talk about AI. How do I really find my way? We try doing that at Miles, but of course,
I think the best is to speak to people, from various industries. Like speak to leaders like you, or someone from.
Or hear your podcast.
Yeah, or hear our podcast as to what's happening in that industry.
Sure.
Is that will that industry give him or her an opportunity to grow and do things? Same way, see what's happening in the other industry. Okay, either if they want to go to a banking industry or in the Indian chartered accountant firm, what's happening, and what is the moment, or as to what they want to do. I think that research is very important for them. It's just not, okay, I got a job somewhere, as I passed out and I got a job somewhere. Not necessarily you have to pursue that. Do some research, and now everything is available on True. Internet, and all the.
So what will be your, let's say, a very focused question, CA or CPA? And again, CA is like the Indian black belt, CPA is the American black belt. How do you see the difference? And you're a CA and a CPA. So how do you see CA versus CPA in many cases? Or if somebody from your team comes and asks you, should I complete my CA? Should I move to the CPA track?
I mean, if we are in this industry, CPA, of course, is a no-brainer, right? Because this is, it will help them to grow in their career, and CPA gives them the credential where, when we are working with their US counterparts, they will also respect you. Of course, chartered accountants, they'll respect them as well. But of course, if I'm in the US and I'm in the
because in the US, I know CPAs. I know CPA is the black belt. So if somebody says he is, so CA would be the US ka CPA.
Yes.
Right.
So CPA, of course, is the way to go. And there's so much support system now. I'm talking 20 years ago, there was no support system in terms of doing the CPA in India. I remember when I passed out my CA, I was trying to do CPA while in India, and then I was going around.
But at that time, you had to go to the US to appear for the exams.
Yeah, we had to go to the US to appear for the exam, and then also to study for the CPA.
Correct.
The materials and everything was not easy to get hand on those. Now the ecosystem is available, the support system is available, and go for the CPA, go for your license. It's an add-on license that you have. It builds credential. It adds value to your own resume, and just go for CPA.
Okay, great. We love that. I mean, of course.
Of course. I mean, I'm a CA and a CPA, so I can understand. Like, of course, I've never. Even though I did my CA, I cannot file my own tax return. I have to probably take support from someone else.
Another CA.
But I can probably do a tax return for a US firm. So CP, of course.
And the next question that we have, Vishal, and again, I think you'd be in a great position to answer that, is, CA is, of course, the traditional path, and there are a lot of opportunities, and a lot of respect for CAs in India. Likewise for CPAs. You want to do India audits, you have to be a chartered accountant. US audits, you have to be a CPA. So now let's say people listening to your podcast say, no, Vishal ne bola CPA karna hai, so we'll go for, we choose CPA and build our career with global capability centers, multinationals. Citrin is a multinational in India. Build my career in US audit or US tax or US accounting and multiple other opportunities there. The next question that we have, from the talent is, India or US, right? And of course, India is the bird in the hand, right? I mean, and the good thing is firms are coming to India, right? Early 2000s, we saw the big four starting off in India, and now you have so many mid-tier firms, firms like Citrin Cooperman, leaders like yourself, really scaling up. I mean, you've really literally doubled your headcount in the last year and a half, and again, I don't know, you're going to double it again in the next couple of years. So now I have so many opportunities here in India, but now I'm like, should I also go to the US? So by the way, we also have a Miles STEM pathway for accountants. Yeah. For many years when we started Miles, when they came to us and we only had opportunities in India, we were like, do your CPA, you have jobs in India. And people say, can I also go to US? We're like, no. Not really. I mean, you can have an L1 within the firm or H1Bs. You got an H1B early on those days. I mean, these days, the lottery and all, it's very, very difficult to get a sponsorship for somebody who's located remotely. So we said, so engineers do that, right? Often I see the accounting industry, following the tech playbook, right? There was shortage of engineers in India in the 90s, 2000s, and engineering work came into India. And then you had services companies like TCS, Infy, Wipro, or even, IBMs and Microsofts and Googles, and they set up huge R&D centers, service delivery centers in India. So a lot of tech work coming to India, but there was always the trend of Indian techies going to America, right? Sundar Pichai or Satya Nadella, undergrads in India, and then went to the US. And we said, with accountants, you were coming in, but you don't have as many accountants really going in. And we said, we need to have a path. Now, we looked at what engineers did, right? Engineers typically did their undergrad in India and went to America and did a master's in computer science, which allowed them, because the master's in computer science was a STEM program, science, technology, engineering, maths. It allowed them a 3-year work on their student visa, followed by H1Bs or green cards. And many of them, of course, want to come back or do come back. And we said accountants don't do that because accounting is not STEM. And we started talking to universities and we said, no, accounting is integrated with technology, right? Whether you look at a simple Tally or a QuickBooks, or you look at an SAP or Oracle accounting information systems, and then you add the data analytics layer. There's so much tech in accounting, and why isn't accounting STEM? And then few universities, of course, started working on creating programs, which is a master's in accounting with analytics. Mm-hmm. And the moment they did that, accounting programs now became STEM designated, and Indian accountants, like engineers, have an option of going into America. Of course, there's an investment, right? You have to pay. US tuition fees are a lot. So they take a student loan and go through that culture shock. I mean, culture learnings or culture shocks. And then they have an opportunity to work in the US for 3 years with CPA firms, industry, particularly CPA firms is what we are doing now. And then after 4 years, they have an opportunity of coming back. Now, India is an amazing growth story, right? There's huge opportunities in India, and I can join Citrin, or I can join one of the fast-growing firms in India, or I can take this route to the US. And again, there's always pros and cons. We can say the American dream, but sometimes the grass is always greener on the other side, right? वहाँ जाके खाना भी बनाना है, कपड़े भी धोने हैं, घर का खाना भी नहीं मिलेगा, and you're away from family. So how do you see, this program or this opportunity for a talent? And I'm asking you this because even though it was not the STEM pathway for you, you still spent the 3 years in the US. So how do you, advise candidates, and very objectively, not the Miles STEM pathway, but in general, if I were to go to the US for 3 years, would that change my game? Or for those who don't want to go, I have family here, I don't want to really go. How do you try to sort of bring in those same cultural values or basically alignment, right? We don't need to change our value system, but we need to align. So if I want to take up this pathway, what do you think about it? And if I don't, I want to work in India, how do I get aligned to US? And I'm working with US clients, US external clients. So
I think it's good to have that exposure while you are in the US and you work directly with the people over there. It gives you that culture understanding and how things work in the US, but it is not a necessity. I think with so much of growth that is happening in India, not only from the accounting industry perspective, but overall, like you said, other firms as well, you get this similar experience in India as well. I think the biggest question that everyone should ask themselves is, are they going to get the same learning while they are in India, or will they get a better learning or a higher learning while in the US? I feel that it depends on what you're looking for.
Sure.
If you're looking for this technical learning,
Same.
probably the learning is the same,
Absolutely.
be it in the US or
Correct,
in India.
correct.
Okay.
Because you're still doing the same tax
You're still
returns,
doing the
audit
same thing,
engagements.
and the US teams are heavily involved in training the teams in India. Like in our case, we on a regular basis, almost every 1 month, we have one partner or the other from the US in our India office training our team members. So the learning will be there, and you will still need that much of time to get there. Obviously, even if you're in a firm in the US, you will still have to go through the same grind. You have to still spend that much of time to learn. Obviously, there are some add-ons, like I said, the culture thing and other stuff. And maybe you may get to see the clients earlier than what you have in India, but you still interact with the clients directly from India as well. It's just on a video call rather than meeting in person. And even in the US, with the current situation, like after COVID, the in-person meetings have actually dried up. It's mostly all using the the video conferencing as well. So I see that's an indifferent. It's a very good I think the program that you spoke about, it obviously adds on, but I don't think it brings much of a difference. Obviously, there's an American dream, you want to go there, but that opportunity is always there when you are working with the one of the firms like ours. You mentioned the L1 visa, and there's always opportunity where we send our team members to the US, to spend time with the team, learn and come back, and then train the rest of the team as well as what you learned.
So you spoke about integrating your India team, and you have 700 people with your US office. So you have like more than 3,000 people in the US, and you have a 700 people team in India. How do you build that integration so that the India team is an extended office, and as you said, the learnings are aligned? What are the steps that you take? What are the challenges that you face in doing that, and what kind of support do you have from, let's say, Citrin's US leadership in terms of and it's easier said than done, Vishal, right? I mean, there are always challenges. I mean, you can always do better. How do you do that, right? The 3,000 people team is in the US, right? Of course, even in the US, they're spread over. But we have the 700 people team like thousands of miles away.
It's a journey. So say, for example, if someone is setting up a GCC, a new GCC in India, you cannot expect that year one or day one, it will be like, one integrated team. It's an effort that needs to be put in on both sides, by India team and the US team. Of course, the US leadership for us has been very, very supportive, and the messages that they keep passing on in various forums about, that India team is part of our team. We are not a third-party service provider. I think that is very important. That messaging is very important. That it's not outsourcing. Even though people still sometimes use that word outsourcing to India, but you're not outsourcing. We are just a team, in a different city. It's just like you said, in the US, we have offices in 22 cities, or and expanding, just like we are one other city.
So is that also an advantage in some ways, Vishal? So in the US, when you have 22 city offices, of course you have a firm culture, but a lot of offices, when they become big, they start developing their own culture, sometimes their own processes as well, right? They want to do things in a way. So maybe your office in Chicago may do it a little differently from your office in New York or your office in LA. Does the India team really come in terms of trying to standardize or share best practices?
You are spot on. That's where the India team plays a critical role, because we work with all the offices. In the US, when the teams work, they sometimes becomes in silos.
This could be better for you.
Yeah, so we work with everyone, and our teams can identify that okay, this is we worked with this team and that team, and this is what we suggest is a better way of doing it, and spreading that standardization across. In fact, the India team is the core of standardizing or even using the new technologies. In many cases, the first users of the new technology or new standardization of the processes is done by India, because that helps in flowing that to all the
Because
offices.
you're anyways working with all the
Yes,
offices.
yes. So that's
You become the
critical
champion
role.
for the new tech or the new tool.
Yes, and then we drive it for the rest of the firm. And that's the evolution that has happened. That's how we have evolved. Not just Citrin Cooperman. All the firms have evolved accordingly, and they are looking at India as the the value that we are adding. It's just not like the cost thing. So, we play a critical
what if you
role.
still have some partners in Citrin Cooperman who are still traditional? They're still like, no. I mean, I like Vishal. Vishal's a good guy, but no.
I mean, there will always be few characters like that, and it's okay to have those as well.
Sure.
But the constant process of talking.
So
to
who are
them
your
and making
champions?
understandings.
And I know you travel a lot to the US. You meet the US stakeholders. Who are your champions in the US? Who are your US leaders who are like, no, we love Vishal. We love what he's doing in India. And technically, you are like carrying a flag whenever you go, right? I mean, I've seen you carrying that flag of India's accounting talent. We can do great work in India. Who's sort of helping you, supporting you? What's the ecosystem that you have within the firm?
So, all our leaders in the US, if I start with from Alan to Ken and to
So
Sean.
Alan is your
Alan is
CEO,
our chief executive officer.
and he's
CEO.
committed. He's like
Yes.
he's like Vishal.
We are one of the top two priorities for the
Top two,
firm.
technology and Vishal.
Technology and
India GCC.
I'll not say Vishal, but
But
yes,
India
the
GCC, okay.
India team, so he's there. Ken is an absolute pleasure to work with. I think he sleeps thinking about India. He eats thinking about India all the time.
Wow.
India is on his mind all the time, and such
He
a
keeps
lovely,
traveling to India.
He keeps traveling to India at
You're
least
getting
twice
excited
a
with
year.
Indian food and all of that.
Not Indian food yet, but at least twice a year he travels to India.
Sure.
Just to ensure, and the purpose of those visits is just to meet the India team, just to make them feel that we are committed to India team. Just that gesture, and Sean Howard, who is now taking over Ken's role. He as well, it comes to India at least 2 or 3 times in a year to meet the team in India and talk about what's happening at the firm level, how India is important, what role our India team members are playing. So all of them and our audit president for our audit function, Jeff Kovacs, and all our regional leaders and audit practice leaders and tax practice leaders, they're all really committed and supportive of our India team.
So there's the virtual connections, and then they're also coming in.
There's a connection
in-person.
almost every day, even if I'm not talking to them. Our leaders in India, Raj, Lokesh, and Rashi, they are on probably talking to them on a daily basis.
Amazing.
As to what's happening in India. Also talk about challenges. Obviously there will be areas sometimes where things are not working well. So how do we solve it together? It's just not India problem. It's a firm level
firm-wide
problem,
problem, right?
And everyone is so committed and
And you
it's a
literally have
wonderful
like
ecosystem.
more than 20% of your global team now in.
Yes, we are almost 25% almost in India, which is a
And tell us more about what happens when you go to the US carrying the flag.
The welcome over there is amazing.
Amazing, okay.
It's
like howdy Vishal.
Not only me. It's not only about me. When our team members go to the US as well on rotation on an exchange program, they always come back and say that the way they were treated as like their own team members, and that's amazing. The learning experience that they get, the partners, they in many cases they go and receive our team members at the airport, which is an amazing gesture. That shows that how they feel about our India team, that they're part of their own and things like that. So it's been amazing. Most of the discussions that when I am there is about strategies as to what next. Okay, we have come so far. What next? What else can we do?
How do you pitch this, right? So if you were in the room with, let's say, all your Citrin Cooperman, and I think you have those meetings periodically where you have everybody coming together, and when you're presenting to hundreds of partners in Citrin Cooperman, What's your pitch? How
Our
do you
pitch
pitch
is
the
our pitch
India
is
talent story?
yeah. My pitch all the time is the India team is hungry. They want to do more. They have whatever they have done, they have mastered it. They are doing it on a regular basis, and if we have to keep them engaged, we need to challenge them more. And the constant question that we get from our India team is, what next? What else can we do? What more can we do? And it's not only our team. The talk is also about there's so much of talent outside who can come in and do more. So recently obviously you have been doing compliance work for a long time. Now the discussion is, can we do M&A? Can we build an M&A team in India who can help the tax compliance or tax matters with respect to mergers and acquisitions? Or can we build a specialized team on research and development credits or some of the other things? So it's getting more into consulting side. So that is the pitch that okay, this is what we are doing. This is business as usual. Obviously we continue to scale, but there's always more areas that we can do, and there is available talent, both experienced as well as, of course, we can hire more and we can train them. If we can train our team members in the US, we can train our team members in India as well. So that's more of a conversation, and that's how we try to do more and more in India.
So with your US leadership, and you said Alan is a champion, you've Ken, Sean, all of them are champions that we need to expand our India office and we can have a lot of synergies. How many other champions do you have as partners and leaders who are like, no, this is great, it's working so well for us, we need to do more? Or are there situations where they want to do more, but you're not really able to really get to speed in some cases?
We are in those situations. We are in that situation as well, where they want to do more in India, and we sometimes have to push back. Yes, we'll do it, but there is we have to pace it out.
Because when you said you're hungry, they're like, okay, here's the food.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, we can't eat so much.
Right, but we have to pace it out as well. We don't want to take on something and then fail, or too many things at the same time.
Maybe you're learning in the US, don't overpromise.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Like, we'll do it. Let's put it on the pipeline. Let's put a timeline by when we want to do it, and we do it. Like, we built specialized team this year, and there were 3 or 4 center of excellences that we built in India, and then there was.
So what are those center of excellences that you built? So
it's the private client services. The tax returns for private client services.
Very
That's
nice.
what we have built, where the team is day in day out working on those returns up to the returns are signer ready, so that in the US it goes to the partners and they just look at it and then sign returns.
Wow.
And
So review work, everything happens.
everything is happening in India, and then our target is by next year we may even start signing those returns in India.
Wow.
So that's how we are building those center of excellence.
That's
the
what you said,
specialized
yeah.
team.
Yeah, very
Specialized team. We have built a center of excellence around international tax compliance. The 5471s, 5472s. There's a specialized team who just does this because that gives them an opportunity to get into that consulting mode in the future, or working with the clients directly.
Amazing.
You need to have that specialization. We've gone on the days where it's just about, okay, here is a return, just prepare it and send it back. That's not the case anymore. So that's one. We have built a center of excellence around real estate, not-for-profit, you name it. Like, we are building those specialized teams who works on a specialized industries, and they're getting becoming champions on those. And
So Vishal, now it's time for rapid fire.
sure.
So let's start with your leadership style. So one word that you would use to describe your leadership style.
I would say easygoing.
Okay, that doesn't sound so easy.
I believe, like I think I mentioned earlier.
तो paranoid नहीं होता आपको? You're easy going, but don't you get paranoid as a leader sometimes? पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है? FOMO नहीं होता आपको?
होता है, but I think as a leader we need to keep it inside. If you cannot show it to your team, because then they will start panic.
Correct.
So it always happens, but
So if
I
people
always
see this
leave it.
podcast, everybody would want to join Citrin Cooperman. They're like, we've got an
I would
easygoing
love to welcome everyone to my team. But my idea is, we all know our roles.
Sure.
Obviously, there will be days when things are not working out the way you planned. But you learn from it and see what can be done, and then move forward. You cannot change what has happened, and that's how I think
as
about it.
easygoing as you are, Vishal, what keeps you up at night? कहाँ फटी हुई रहती है आपकी?
My biggest worry that keeps me up is the quality. At no point we can drop the quality of work that we are doing. That keeps me awake, because there could be one blunder, a big blunder. I mean, obviously, quality can happen here and there, things may not work out as you planned, but, something big that impacts the firm. I think that is very important.
How do you keep those checks and balances, the quality control inside of the firm? How do you,
We
and
have
the India
a
firm specifically?
we have a full process, from everything that is done in India goes through a review, at least one level of review. Even though a lot of time work is assigned to India, where our staff is say working directly with the partner, but we talk to them and say, hey, at least let's have one level of review
Got it.
in India, so that the quality is good, or and it's
Got it. And it
specifically
takes so much effort to build that trust, and
Yeah.
something goes wrong, and suddenly you have a trust
exactly,
deficit created.
and things, the word spreads very quickly.
Correct.
So that's
correct.
why quality. I keep saying one thing to my team: quality in everything that we do. It's not only about your work product; it's about how you communicate to the team as well. How you show up to your teams, both in the US and in India. What legacy are you carrying? That's so important, and that comes with the quality that you.
So now talking about India teams, one thing that Indian talent does better than the world thinks.
Um, I think the Indian talent is agile. They are flexible. Uh, they can do multiple things at the same time, and they're flexible. They can do one thing on day one, and they can do something different on day two.
Yeah.
There's the adaptability.
Especially the pivots that happen. Yeah.
Yes, the hunger to learn.
Correct.
That is so much there in India talent, which I think
So if a
I've
certain
not
project
seen.
coming in, you can quickly put together a team, say,
Yes.
you have to do it from today.
Yeah, and they will happily do it. They'll always find a reason why to do it. Why not to do it is not something that they think about. They always think, okay, why should we do it?
Amazing. So one myth about India GCCs that you would want to bust.
That it's only about cost arbitrage. It's not about cost arbitrage. It's the value that we add, or that we can add to the overall ecosystem. I think that's
Full
something-
service
Full
that-
service, just not cost arbitrage. If someone is opening a center in India just for the cost arbitrage, I think they should reevaluate there.
Yeah, and I'll sort of add to that, Vishal. So I've been to a lot of conferences. I've more than 50 conferences in the US, and spoken to a lot of CPA firm leaders, both big and small, much smaller, smaller regional firms as well. And one question that we always ask them is, what's your biggest incentive to set up an India office? What's your biggest incentive to outsource? Some of them are working with third parties. Is it the cost? They're like, no. For us, the number one reason is talent.
Yeah.
While of course one thing is the value that the India talent adds, the fact is also that there's a shortage of accountants in the US, and everybody's talking about that, right? I mean, the baby boomers are retiring. Not a lot of young accountants are getting into the profession. So America needs more than 120,000 accountants every year, but less than 80,000 are graduating, right?
Yeah.
So there is always that gap. So they see India as that resource, the talent hub. And then of course leaders like you make sure that the talent is trained and valuable and delivering high quality work, and also saving cost.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll extend to what you said. Yes, coming to India for that talent, because in the US, like you said, the accounting talent is reducing. It can become the same for India as well in the future if we don't give that opportunity to the India talent to do more and more. So we are looking for the talent in India right now to do your tax returns or your audit report or something. But if you just stop it over there, then the interest from the Indian accountants will also, they'll start losing interest in this as well, because they want to add value. So I think we need to be more future oriented rather than just solving the current issue.
Absolutely. So, and while we are, very bullish about, the value that Indian talent adds and the commitment that they have, what's that one trait or that one quality which is a deal breaker for you? That one value system that, when you're hiring someone, if you don't have this, you may be an amazing CPA or an amazing CA, I won't hire you.
Your attitude. The attitude is very important. We may hire someone who may not be a very good accountant, but if that person has an attitude to go and learn, yes, I am missing this, but I will learn and I'll do it. Or if I don't have an answer, I'll find the answer. That is so important, because, if you do not have the right attitude coming into this industry, it won't work for you. So the right attitude is so important for me.
Yeah, so not like I know it all and,
Yeah,
you know.
yes. I mean, you may know it all, that's fine, but then you cannot carry that arrogance with you. You have to be humble, you have to be, ready to learn more and more, and cannot have that, okay, you don't teach me, I know it all. It doesn't work in this industry at all.
Okay, so now with talent now there's also a lot of leverage of technology, and you said a lot of new tools get introduced from India and then it goes into a lot of your US offices. So what's the one tech trend or in accounting, specifically in public accounting, that you're most excited about?
I'm excited about AI. It's there's so much opportunity to utilize AI in our accounting.
You're talking about
testing.
AI in audit, AI in client
AI
accounting
in
services.
audit, in AI in tax as well. I think what's going to happen, and probably it's happening already in certain cases, where the boxes on your tax returns will probably already be filled by AI. And then what we do right now is we fill in those boxes, ourselves. That will be done by AI, and that will give opportunity for our teams to start with a review rather than just the preparation. Amazing. So I'm really excited because that's very mundane. It doesn't teach you much when you're just putting the numbers on the boxes. And same thing from the audit perspective as well. The regular tick and tie thing for 2 to 3 years that we do, you can learn that in 6 months itself. You don't have to spend 3 years to really learn that part of the audit. True. So I'm really excited because it takes away all of these activities, and we do more and more in terms of reviews, and accelerates everyone's career as well in this.
So one thing, Vishal, that needs to change in the accounting profession, and this is not an India-specific question, this is US, India, the profession as a whole, or we as accountants. What do you think we really need to change, as we move along, as we evolve?
I think we need to start getting into more consulting mode. Rather than just compliance oriented.
Sure.
When I say consulting, I'm not talking about the advisory part of it, or digital advisory or risk advisory or something.
What about insights and foresights rather than
Insights
just
and
oversight?
foresights. So what value are we adding to our clients? And like I mentioned earlier, clients can move from one firm to the other. They stick with a firm because of the relationship and the values that we are adding. I think we still are in the mindset where, okay, it's the audit season. We need to get the audit report out, and that's it. And then for the next 7-8 months, you have no contact with the clients, or nothing. And then again, you reach out next year.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it. But I think we need to change that and be more involved in their business, not in their transactions, but okay, what's happening in your business, or give them industry insights. Okay, that you are in this industry, and that's what's happening in the industry, and are you you're aware of those things so that you can take the informed decisions. I think that's pivot need happen. It's not that it's not happening, but I think we need to do more and more.
So as passionate as you are, Vishal, about accounting and the profession, you're a CA and a CPA. What if you were not an accountant? What would Vishal Agarwal be?
I honestly don't know. The CA thing came naturally. Okay. Being from a Marwari family and in Kolkata, all my cousins were doing CA. So by default, it was the go-to career. And I never got an opportunity to actually think about it. I don't have an answer to that.
Okay, but anything that as a child, when you were very young, I would fly rockets to space, or
probably be a doctor.
Okay.
Probably be a doctor. I'm a very emotional kind of a person. I love to be with people and help them
But
as much
as
as
an accountant, I
possible.
think you can be anything. You can still do accounting or consulting for a hospital.
Yeah, we can still do that. Yes, of course. But
But
yeah.
okay, amazing. So we have a lot of candidates, Vishal, who are starting off their career or who are already been in accounting for a few years and are trying to figure out what would be your advice to all the young accountants, especially from India. What would be your message to them?
For all the young accountants, I would say there is an amazing opportunity when it comes to US tax and US accounting audit industry. There's so much that you can do in this industry. My only message to you again is if you are choosing any industry, not only US accounting industry, but any other industry, don't use it as a stopgap arrangement. Take it seriously, and you want only choose an industry when you want to make it big in your career. Otherwise, all the best. You guys are doing amazing job and making our country proud, actually.
So you heard from Vishal Agarwal, a visionary leader who's been in the India, US accounting and India GCC space for more than 20 years now, who's scaled up a couple of big fours and is now the man behind Citrin Cooperman. They've got 700 people, but we're excited to see Citrin Cooperman in India grow, and an amazing opportunity for the Indian talent pool. So thank you so much, Vishal.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you for having me here, and I'm looking forward to our partnership in the future as well.